Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. We have a special guest, Maria Pescadinha, the lawyer here in Portugal. Thank you for joining us, Maria.
Thank you for asking me.
Today we're going to have this expert explain to you things that are going to be really helpful if you want to live or move to Portugal, get visas in Portugal. Check out visasinportugal.com. But today we're going to talk about property acquisition and the changes recently in Portuguese law. So if you're looking to purchase property in Portugal, this video is for you. So Maria, what should they be concerned about?
Most expats that wants to acquire property in Portugal, they focus on real estate agents. Although real estate agents are very good to search for the property, you can have more than one. You don't have to stick with that one. You can check different real estate houses and search for properties for yourself. You should always engage with an attorney or a solicitor. Why? Because laws are in place, and the real estate agent, it's not a person that knows the law, knows financial law or real estate law. So there's only so far that they can help you. And another thing is really important. The real estate agent is hired by the seller. So the seller hires that real estate agent and says, I have this property, please publicize it, find me a buyer. And then you want to buy a house, you're here in Portugal, you visit websites and you check, oh, this real estate agency is selling this property, I want to check it out. So for that real estate agent, he's biased, he's always going to say that's an amazing property. He's always going to say there's no legal problems. He's always going to say, I checked and that's all good. First of all, he cannot check as a solicitor, as an attorney can, because by law, there's confidentiality that lawyers can go past it. So lawyers will search it, will search the documents to see if everything is according to the law, if that property is from that person, if it's not in a bankruptcy, if it's not in a divorce, if it's not in an inheritance. But also, another thing that is really important is that you should also, before you purchase the property, check out the municipality. Check if that property has any problems with the municipality. Sometimes you buy a house and you get inspired and you think, let me build a balcony. And you don't ask the city hall for permission, which you must and you have to. Later on, the municipality finds out about that balcony and sends you a letter saying you have to destroy that balcony. And instead of destroying that balcony, or instead of destroying the attachment you did to your house that made it more expensive, you decide to sell it. And you tell no one that you have that problem with the city hall. So this is really important. And there are few people that do this research at the city hall. This is huge. This research is huge because you're buying something and you might end up with another thing. Another thing that you need to ask in the municipality, if you have a swimming pool, most of the swimming pools are not legal. They just got inspired and built a swimming pool in the backyard. It's not in the plans. It's not at the city hall. So you need to be careful with that. That's huge. Also, again, with a real estate agent, he wants to sell the property as high as he can because he receives a percentage that can go from 2, 3, 5%.
Okay.
So when you say, oh, I want to make an offer, what do you think? And you think he's being transparent with you when he says, oh, he has several offers, just go for the full amount. He's biased because he's protecting the seller's interests. That's why, again, the attorney can do that for you, can negotiate the price for you.
Oh, okay.
At our firm, sometimes we even engage on behalf of our clients so they don't even know he's not Portuguese.
Ah, okay. That's nice.
Yeah, because sometimes, the price change, they do.
It's cool to be an expat, but there are definitely some things to be aware of as well. You can get taken advantage of, that's for sure.
Right? They say, oh, the value of the money in their country is higher than ours, so why should I do a discount when he can for sure afford it?
Yeah.
So if you want to get a discount, sometimes in our firm, clients contact us and says, oh, I want to check that one, and we do the contact, they show up, but they have no idea if it's Portuguese, English, who it is. There's also a way that you can buy remotely. Again, there's a lot of expats buying remotely, and they only engage with a real estate agency. I know you want to save some bucks. It's understandable, but you might end up losing way more. If you have an attorney, by law, he has to check all the legalities of the property. He can do videos, he can check out the property and do videos for you. And if there's any problem with the property, you can sue that attorney because he has insurance. If you buy with a real estate agency, there's no contract between both of you. It's like you just saw the property he's selling. There's no contract that bounds him to be correct with you. So you might end up buying something different that you thought you were buying. Okay? So this is huge. So search for more than one real estate agent. You don't need to stick with one, but always remember he's not protecting your interests, but the seller's interests, because that's the one who hired him. Check all the legalities of the documents. Hire an attorney to do that, to check all the legalities. Go even further and check at the municipality. This is huge. You can, as an expat, also do a mortgage in Portugal. Most of the people don't know that, but you can do a mortgage in Portugal being an expat. Agencies in Portugal that do mortgages for you, our firm does that as well, but you can go to a bank and do it yourself. Of course you can. It's just if there's some documents that you need that you don't quite understand what it is, if you need the extra help, then you can help an agency that does that. And at the end, you have always to promote the notary completion deed. That's the final document. And normally that's set up by the attorney that represents you, that checks all the legalities, informs you of the price. When you go to the notary to sign up the completion deed, you are going to pay not only the fees for the notary, but a big bill, which is the transmission tax. Depending on the value of the property, it can go from 0.2 to 0.89. 89 is more for big $1 million properties. That goes from 0. Can go really.
Does it matter?
High.
Like, so it's basically just the value of the house determines that?
That changes it. And you can do a simulation online if you search for it. If you search IMPIC, IMPIC, that's the governmental website where you can check how much you're going to pay in taxes. You're going to pay stamp tax, which is 0.8, and then you're going to pay transmission tax that goes from 2 to 8 to 9% depending on the value of the property. You only do that one time. Every year you are going to pay municipality taxes. That's at the city hall that the property belongs to. For example, there are city halls that demand the highest amount and others that it's lower if they want to attract more people to live in that municipality. Where we are at, it's the highest amount. So a property that costs 300,000 euros will pay per year around 600 to 900 euros per year. And they will ask you to pay in 3 times, 300 each time. Something like that. It really depends. But again, if you hire an attorney that does the purchase for you of that property, they should inform you of all these expenses that you are going to have before and after. The other thing that you also should be concerned about is if you buy something to redo, if you want to flip, you buy a house, you do renovations, and then you sell it. It's really important that you keep all the invoices that you spend, because in order for you to discount that on capital gains, you can take out all the expenses you had, with labor, with materials, everything. So keep all those invoices, because you don't know the future, right? Even the taxes you paid, everything. Take that out. In Portugal, we normally buy properties in our own names. I know most expats want to build companies and put the So you can do that as well. If you have a company in the United States, for example, and you want to buy property here, that's doable. You need to do a tax number for that company. Or you can open a company here and the American company is the owner of the Portuguese company. You can also do that, but you are also going to need the same tax number. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. If you have a trust fund, you want to put the property in the trust fund, and the trust fund is from another country, it's also doable. So everything is doable here. In Portugal, we don't oftenly, now we are doing, because we have so many expats that ask for that service, that Portugal start having these agencies that do it. When you buy properties overseas, especially in the US, you always have these engineers that you ask to check the property, the building of the property, the inspection. We normally don't do that in Portugal. We don't. But nowadays, there are so many agencies all around the country that do those services for you. So if you feel better, then you should hire those services as well. Now we have those agencies, from 3 to 4 years ago, they start building, because the demand is so high that they had to bring these agencies.
Is there a limit to the number of properties a foreigner can buy in Portugal?
No, there's not. And around January, maybe last year, October, last year, there was a change in the law. So the youngest than 35, I believe, 36 years old, can avoid paying that transmission tax depending on the value of the property. If it goes to 350,000 euros, if it's your permanent property, not your secondary, not to
Yeah, like
rent,
your
not an
primary.
invest, your
Okay.
primary property,
Uh-huh.
you can avoid paying the transmission tax, which
Huh.
is really good. And when you ask for mortgage, you can ask for the 100% of the value and not only 90 or 75%, depending on the situation. Because if you are an expat that does not have a residency permit,
Yeah.
you will be eligible for 75% of the value for mortgage.
Okay.
But if you have a residency permit, you will be eligible for 90%, around that, like a Portuguese person. But if you are younger than 35 years old, you
Okay.
can apply for 100%.
Ah, so you're trying to get the young people into Portugal. Nice. That's
More or
cool.
less.
All those crypto investors, all those young millionaires popping out ready to go into Portugal.
So it's good. Those are good news. And the other change that occurred last October, I believe, was for the permits. In order for you to buy a property, you had to have all these permits.
Okay.
We call it the usable permit, that allows you to use the house, that was checked by a person from the municipality, and they say, yes, the property is okay for you to use it.
Okay.
Nowadays, you can buy it without that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
Remember we spoke about that? Yeah, we did a video about that. So everybody thought, oh, this is really good because that will take out a lot of time, the process, and we can buy it right away. But it's not. Be careful, because that means that the property was not properly inspected. You don't know how you're going to find it. You don't know if it has a problem with the city hall, something for demolition. Be aware, check twice.
You don't know the quality of the work that was done.
You don't, and you can ask for that document.
Okay.
If you have to wait for 5 days or 10 days, it's better for you to wait and have that document.
Super good information. And also an excellent point too about if you're representing the foreigner, then the seller isn't prone or less likely to like try to jack up the price. It helps with the property prices not going super speculative and like outpricing the locals, you know? So
that's true.
That's pretty good.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the real estate agent, most of the times, is going to tell you, oh, you don't need an attorney, you don't need a lawyer, because he wants everything to be smooth. And then you don't ask too much questions, and he does the process really fast, and he earns his own. Because he only gets paid if the seller sells the property.
Yeah.
Don't go in that small talk, and find someone that can represent you. Is Portuguese, knows the law, and can really represent you. Yeah.
So if you found this helpful, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, check out visasinportugal.com. If there's something you're wondering as you're watching this video, we didn't address it, leave it in the comments below and we'll circle back and put out more information for you. So thank you so much for watching. See you later.